Okay, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, welcome to the show and tell.
Yay!
This is Chris Cartwright is in the house.
House.
I see some LEDs.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna get
Yeah,
started. We're
I want
gonna
to paint them black.
we're gonna call on you when it's your turn, and so for now, just make sure you leave your mics on mute. That makes it easier for everyone. Although Google Hangout has been figuring out how to do that on their own now too. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it doesn't flip out.
Yeah, but it is helpful now. Yeah. So okay, we're starting with Jason. Jason, show us your project. I see cool LEDs.
Yeah, I've got some LEDs going on here. First of all, it's great to see Becky over there now.
Yay!
Becky's
in the house.
Nice warm
Very excited. I've been a fan of Make Live for a while, so it's kind of a cool move. So you should take a moment in the Ask an Engineer section to talk a little bit about your maker journey from wherever you started to, Make Live in New York City, that kind of thing. There's a lot of makers like me that struggle with figuring out how to do this kind of thing professionally. So
she was born straight from the head of Zeus. She just came out fully armored.
She wasn't born, she was forged.
With a TV gun jacket on already.
The real secret is this guy right here, actually.
What? I have nothing.
Okay, so what I've got to show tonight, behind me, that thing is about 6.5 feet tall, actually. It's a pegboard cut to the shape of a Greek figure. It was done for an art show last year. But what makes this so cool is a technique that I played with last year that I wanted to share with everybody. So this is a really simple tip that makes LEDs look amazing. All you got to do is put the LED into a small section of PEX tubing, and you can get this at any hardware store, and it's also can be found as medical tubing for oxygen tanks, that kind of thing.
It's also
but when you put it in there, due to total internal reflection, TIR, the light makes the whole thing light up like a lightsaber. So I have a little demo here.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. Ooh. So it's almost like low-cost fiber optics, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same technique. It's just bouncing around internally until it can exit through there.
Nice.
So it's a really cool technique, and it makes the LEDs brighter and, take up more space, basically.
Yeah.
So I use this technique in this tube garden back here. There's about 126 LEDs here, and equally spaced kind of in the middle, the head and the foot, there's little CDS photocells. So whenever you turn this thing on, it captures the ambient light level, and any changes above or below that from flashlights or your hand make it do weird things. Just make the LEDs flash different patterns. So if I kind of cover up one of these things.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So these were hung horizontally from the ceiling in this art show. So people just kind of saw these things floating in space, and they could walk around them, use their cell phones or whatever. And the best part is no one had any idea what the rules were. They didn't know what was the thing they were interacting with. So sometimes just their shadows cause things to happen, and the little blinking that happens, it's actually blinking out "Hello World" in Morse code. So there's all these little layers of Easter eggs for people. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to share those little tips for you.
Nice.
Very, very cool. If you ever write up that tip as a little standalone article, let us know and we'll post it up.
Cool. Thanks.
I like the idea of turning your 10-cent LED into a $100 fiber optic thing, which is just low cost part. Yeah, it's a very make style tip.
That's a common thing because LEDs are so bright, but without the plastics, they don't look so great sometimes. Too bright.
But it's easy to find stuff at the plastic store you can use to diffuse them, little plastic balls and stuff, sand them.
If you have a plastic store nearby.
Okay, we got a full house. We're going to keep moving.
We have a plastic store.
Next up, Kevin Osborne, unmute your mic, put on your glasses, and...
Sorry, flying without them, so. Cool. Hi. I posted recently on the forums, but basically I've been working on using another Arduino to load a program into an Arduino.
Oh my God.
And so what I did was I looked at all, it's unfair to say reverse engineered because all the source code's available. So I looked at, the source code for AVR Dude as well as for the bootloaders.
Yep.
And I posted some blog posts that sort of described the protocol. And now I've written a program for in the Arduino with an SD card, and I've got Justin Shaw and YLM Labs I2SD, which is a really cool little board. It's like an Arduino with an SD card and nice headers for
Yeah, you showed
I2C.
that last week or so. It was really neat.
Yeah, and what it does is I've got right now I've got 3 programs on the SD card here, and his card also has a IR sensor on it, so I could just do this, and it's now loaded blink. You can see on the it's doing blink, and then the next one's a tone program, so it's going to load that. And then there's another blink program in there, so.
That's intense.
And this is the Arduino, like you're calling it like a
I call it boot drive for Arduino.
Boot drive for Arduino.
Yeah, it's like we have a version that can flash an Arduino with a standalone shield, but it can't take it off of the disk. It's only whatever you can fit into the Arduino flash. It's like a small program. This can do multiple programs. And of any size. And
you can select which track essentially to load onto it.
Right, and so Justin wanted to use this to load up his clocks, and so I thought that would be useful. I think then maybe the next step is actually to go back to in some ways the original program, and you could. I mean, I think you gave me the feedback that maybe not too many people actually want to program Arduino programs onto chips, but it might be kind of cool to actually have this run an ICSP header out from you could have an Arduino with a SD shield or something like that, and you could then use it to standalone program other Arduinos with the ICSP.
Yeah. The standalone shield is actually quite popular shield for us, but some people want something with SD. They want something where they're like, well, I want to change. But program also, I see people do installations where they want to be able to change out or program a bunch of boards at a time. So I could see this project being very popular for that.
If you do like art installations, you want to have the staff able to just like press a remote to change it.
Right, and you don't need a computer to do it. So
right.
The second you say, oh, just download this thing, get an FTDI cable on it.
I can't do it. It'll stay off.
Good. I learned all kinds of interesting things doing it too. It's I learned about the AVR size command. Which is very handy, and I'm going to write a blog post about that, because when things start acting really weird, it's because you've run out of memory, but it doesn't always tell you you've run out of memory. So
that's a common issue with Arduinos. There's not a lot of flash. There's a bunch of flash, but not a lot of RAM.
Right.
On some of the PIC compilers that I've used in the old days of me doing PIC projects, they actually would do analysis to tell you how much RAM you were using, but they wouldn't let you load the program if they thought you were going to run out of RAM. Even if you were doing something that was like, well, I know I'm not going to, I'm just like, I have some RAM and then I'm releasing it and I'm using it, it actually wouldn't let you program it if it thought it would crash. So that's
coming soon, AVR garbage collection.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
I don't know if that's a good idea.
That's my bad job. That's my bad job.
But that's the trade-off. So the PIC compiler, I don't remember, the CCS PIC compiler wouldn't let you burn any firmware that could crash. And the AVR GCC that Arduino uses is like, go for it. There's a lot of trade-offs with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to write up a thing. Basically, like if you run an AVR size, it'll tell you what percentage you have, but you can't go to 100% because you still have to. It doesn't really account for stack and things like that because it doesn't do really any analysis. So
there are some examples. If you look on the Arduino site, there are a couple examples of pre-filling the RAM with a known 32-bit hex. So then after your program runs or during the program, it can scan through and see where does it end. Where does your fixed byte look like it starts, so that you know you've overwritten up to that point? If that makes sense, like you paint the wall green, and then as you're writing in, you paint it white, and so then whatever is green left over, is whatever the amount you have left on the stack. There's a couple posts on the Arduino CC site about that.
We've been saying this because people really want to squeeze out more.
Well, it's a little bit our fault because we're always doing stuff with SD cards,
Wave Shield, GPS.
Wave Shield, GPS log. It's what people want, but the trade-off is they are very RAM heavy. It's very unfortunate, but to do it right, you have to use a lot of RAM.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Sure.
Post up a link, or also send us a link, and we'll do a post up on Adafruit about this.
Great. Sure. Thanks.
Okay, next up, Eric Hall. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, just make sure you unmute your mic.
I can hear you. Oh.
Let's see.
No?
Eric?
Hello?
Okay, Eric.
He
I see you.
switched cameras.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's nice. I see something.
Sorry, I got busy switching cameras.
That's great. I think I see something laser cut.
It's purple.
Yes, actually, I wrapped up your big solar panel, a big battery, the solar charger, and a little volt indicator in a fancy little container.
Look at this.
Ooh.
Is that a perma-proto shield too? Or perma-proto board?
It is. It's super Adafruit parts.
This is great.
Awesome. What is
Yeah.
it?
It's a solar panel on the other side.
Charges the
Oh,
battery.
yeah.
Ah.
That is nice.
That's really nice.
Okay, so you've got a little meter that even tells you how charged your battery is.
Yes.
Nice.
Here, let me. Ooh.
Netflix.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay,
Ooh.
let's forget 3.7.
Yeah. Pretty standard stuff. I found that with the Minty and the batteries, I was going through a lot of batteries, so I beefed it up.
Yeah, what
Wow.
battery pack is that? Is that the 5?
That's the biggest one we have.
That's the 6600.
Yeah,
Yeah.
6600.
It's a monster. And it runs a long time. It's nice. I've yet to drain it all the way after several hours of charging a phone, which is
Oh,
nice.
great. And,
That's so
and what are
cool.
you using this for outdoor stuff that you just want to charge it for phones and things?
Yeah, I like to be able to say, yeah, I charge my phone on the sun.
That's cool.
That's the way we feel. We're like, it is neat, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's all this like energy pouring down on us. It seems like
Yeah.
a waste not to use
This is
it.
neat, and then it can be repurposed for another project. You can make like a
Yeah.
wireless
This is-
another project.
Yeah.
I've been playing around with the solar stuff, and I'm next is a couple of servos so I can track
Yeah.
the sun, because I've noticed that after a couple of hours it starts to drop off pretty quickly. Particularly,
You have to get the solar. You really need to have it pointing right at it if you want to get
yeah,
even close to 100% of what the rated
yeah.
current is
I'm even farther north than you guys, so in the winter it's pretty low on the horizon.
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, very cool. If you ever take photos or anything of this, because this looks beautiful, let us know and we'll do a post up on
That's
Adafruit.
beautiful.
Yeah, I got the design files up on my site. I'll post a link, and
Awesome.
Oh, great.
yeah, I think they're on Pinocchio too, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Eric. That was a fantastic project.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Eric.
great.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to keep going through the list. Sam has not been on the show, so I'm going to go to Sam next. Sam, unmute your mic and show us your project.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Is that working? Okay.
Everything's
I've been
working.
to UK, so my internet's pretty slow, so anyway.
It's okay.
This is it's actually a school project. It's, very bluey inside, but it's actually an RFID reader
Oh, nice.
that, I hooked it up to the 32U4 board, and it will type in your password if the RFID tag is present. So it
That's
can
handy.
That is handy.
Oh, that is neat.
It's secretly stored inside the
Oh,
mouse.
so you're using the HID stuff on the 32U4 chip
Yeah.
to act as a keyboard?
Yeah, so the idea is that you wouldn't use a computer, you'd use, I'd put a tag inside a watch strap, and
Yeah.
I've also put, it's so like you'd use it for implants and stuff,
Yeah.
but this is my first sort of major project that actually involves soldering, so it's
Wow, that's
kind
great.
of,
That's a really
really
advanced
cool.
project.
You kind of leapfrogged a lot of things. An RFID reading mouse. That's a good first project. I'm scared about your like 5th or 6th one. You may as well just like build a supercomputer out of Arduinos.
Killer robots.
That's really cool.
I've got it's actually as I said it's a school project, so I just finished it today, and my deadline's pretty soon, within a couple of weeks. So
What are your other classes?
A couple of weeks. Wow, that's not you have plenty of time. You can keep.
well,
adding-
it's not just doing it. It's the process is such that they care more about how much you write about the project and what
okay.
you actually make and stuff.
That's
so.
good.
Well, at least you got plenty
I know,
of time
but do you want
that
to see
now.
it actually?
Yeah.
I want to see it actually.
Live demo.
It's pretty fast, so
Wow.
there you go.
So
That's excellent. Mhm.
So
We can type
it's because of, there was some problems because the antenna actually takes way more power than because it uses a USB hub inside. I just hooked the board out of the thing and hooked up the mouse board and the 32U4 board. But the RFID antenna was drawing way too much power, so I hooked up this little button that turned into the login button, and it just turns off the mouse.
Oh, so it can
So-
get all 5
So it
volts.
can get all the power.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so clever.
Yeah, it's last
You
minute.
could also
It's a
put a
really
really
cool
big,
project.
you could put a really big capacitor
Yeah.
there because the antenna isn't going to be running all the time. So if you have space, a really big 6.3 volt capacitor, like 10,000 microfarad, might help smooth it out a little bit.
I should try that, but I mean,
Try it out.
I don't really know. I know more about computers and stuff than electrical engineering, so I mean, it would be definitely cool to try it.
Oh, I can give you the biggest pro tip
I
after
should.
working with an engineer for a while. Just use capacitors. Big
Add
capacitors
capacitors.
solves every problem.
Moving on out.
Capacitors are like money. They don't solve your problems, but they make your problems easier to solve.
Yeah.
That's awesome, project.
Anyway,
Alright,
so
well-
that's
I dig it.
Well, Sam,
Alright.
when you're done, when you're all finished, and if you're allowed to post up about it, let us know. We'd love to post a link to it on the Adafruit blog.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get
Okay,
extra
cool.
credit for it being on the internet.
Thank you.
Famous class.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your project, Sam.
Okay.
And
Good
we're
luck.
staying up late.
All right.
And we're staying up late.
we have some return visitors. So we're gonna go to Jeremy, and then we're gonna go to Chris. So Jeremy, you got a few minutes here, and then Chris will wrap up the show with you, and then we'll go to Ask an Engineer. So Jeremy, show us your project.
Hi guys, I have a solar badge that I got from you, and so I thought, cool, portable power, and so with Becky being charging of wearables, I decided to make something wearable. So what I did is I actually used one of your perma-proto boards,
Yeah.
and it's actually kind of a heart shape, not on purpose, but that's the way it came out. And there's a 328 here, the crystals and caps to run it, and there's a TMP 36 down here. There's a tilt switch.
Yeah.
There's a tactical push-button switch, and there's 3 little resistors and an RGB LED. So I actually tried with an HID headlight to replicate the sun to make this work, but not going to happen. So I about burnt my eyeballs out, but didn't get to actually power up. So what I have is I soldered just some jumpers on here to give this thing some power. So
Okay.
we'll just give this
Oh, the solar-
power real quick.
Benchtop.
I found
Apple
that a
90%.
500-watt incandescent light
yeah.
bulb 6 inches away actually does simulate the sun pretty well. But, like, these bulbs only last, like, 10 hours.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're bright as heck.
And you get a free tan. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, this guy, you can see this this little LED is kind of purplish pinkish, and the temp sensor, as it gets warmer, it'll grow more red, and as it gets cooler, it'll get more blue. I have some keyboard duster here, and so if I put some propellant on this thing, it'll cool it down, and you can see that it'll go, when it freezes, it flashes blue. And as you can see, when you do this and it warms back up, it'll go up to a decent temperature. And if you want to know the actual temperature, rather than partly blue and partly red, if you shake it, it'll tell it to you in digits. 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 66 degrees in here. Well, that's 66 degrees now. It'll warm up, but if you shake it, it'll give you the temperature. It'll flash the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. So if it's 77 degrees, it'll flash 7 times, pause, and 7 times again. And then the switches for different modes. If you just want to switch to a different mode, I just have the rainbow RGB LED, like the bling mode. Sorry, this isn't.
Oh
Yeah, I see it. It's cool.
Yeah, that's
Oh, this is
So,
great. I love projects like this because you have a constraint, which is this 2-inch by 2-inch like round solar panel.
Yeah.
It's only
And then
40
like
milliamps.
yeah, and what can you possibly do with it? Well, a lot. Can you
Yeah, and there's a third mode that just flashes the temperature, and every color just goes through all the different colors. So yeah, here I'll get this back into the first mode. I don't know how well you saw it, but if it goes back to the first mode where it's just this, and you shake it, you can see 4, 5,
Oh, that's
6,
super cool.
7. So that flashes the temperature. So that's my first wearable project. But I thought it was kind of neat because it just works all the time. You never have to worry about batteries, and it goes anywhere. So pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, you definitely earned the solar badge. So congratulations.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, I think I saw a link that you had posted somewhere on Google+. But if you send us a link too, we'll make sure we post it up so people can.
Okay. Yeah, there's lots of Adafruit stuff in here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Very good.
That's a good use, and you should take it outside and just get it. Yeah,
Take
get
a little
it
sample
outside.
video.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Thanks
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
All right. And Chris. Hello, Chris.
Weekly WriterNet update.
Oh, I think you gotta unmute your
Unmute
mic.
yourself. We can't hear you.
Yeah.
We can't hear
No,
you.
no.
Oh no, Chris. We can't hear you.
No.
Yeah, gotta do the sound thing.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute your mic. Your mic. Get your mic. Microphone.
It's actually kind of cool.
Well.
I can probably explain what he's saying. So I worked on WriterNet this week, and check it out. I've got
I'm totally okay
9
with that.
nodes, and I've got a TFT display on a Mega, and I've got some Proto stuff, and all of them are connected with XBs, and like there's 18,000 LEDs involved here.
And it's cooled by oil.
And it's cooled by oil, and we've got ponies, and you don't have any ponies.
Horses love electronics.
And the horses were starting to nibble on the cables, so that we had to
It's Chris.
what?
Love Chris.
Love Chris. That's kind of cool.
It is cool, but we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Hey, he's got a pan of
And a
ice.
And he's got a pan of ice. And there's something about this
And he's
pan
got a
of ice
hacko.
that's special.
He's got a hacko also.
This is like the old
Oh
days.
no, he's got the microscope. But the
Oh,
problem
yeah.
is that if he's using, I don't know, maybe
He's not using that camera, though. He's not using his USB
I wonder if
camera.
he's going to switch over to that camera.
I know, but that's cool. He's like, I'm going to show you a close-up photo of some stuff.
This is like in the old days when Google Hangouts didn't have voice. It was just when it was black and white, and then they eventually got voice.
Yeah.
Old days when Chaplin used to do
So he
it.
got a microscope. He's looking at stuff really close up.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's real cool,
Oh.
Chris.
All right, Chris.
Good work. We'll see you next week.
You know what the worst part is? I think WriterNet can now communicate telepathically, and I think that's good.
I think we got a pretty good job. Okay, thank you everybody for showing off your awesome stuff on this week's show and tell. We're actually about out of time. We got to get ready to do the real show.
We'll see you on Ask
Starring
Engineer.
Becky.
Yeah, Becky will be here. No pressure.
No pressure.
Okay, we'll see everyone next week.
No, in 5 minutes.
I mean in the show and tell.
Show and tell, come back next
Or
week.
5 minutes.
awesome,
And it's
by the
also
way.
recorded, so time doesn't mean anything
That's
anymore.
true. Show and tell next week. Ask Engineer is on in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Get your